Wake to rise to new heights. Wake to rise to new heights. What's your next move, family? What's our next move as we find ourselves flying through this extremely interesting life of ours, as we find ourselves moving forward from one day to the next, trying to navigate these crazy waters, trying to become stronger every day? I don't know about you, but my goal is to make sure that this coronavirus panic, whatever you want to call it, does not pass without me elevating myself. As I said, wake to rise to new heights. Every day, I aspire to rise to new heights. I aspire to accomplish new things, to learn new things, to develop new friendships and relationships, to escape the matrix, to grow my own food, to do yoga, to stretch, to appreciate the sun, to appreciate my family, to appreciate my loved ones. And as I'm doing this, giving thanks every day and reflecting, which is what we're really talking about, the question keeps coming back to me: what's your next move? What is your next move? I've been thinking about my next move and where I'm going physically, mentally, spiritually. And I guess today the goal of this stream of consciousness is to get you to reflect on what your next move is. In response to COVID-19, but in response to life itself. What is your next move? What is your next plan of action? I'll share a little bit of my thoughts, and I hope that some of the things I have to say might be valuable to you. I am preparing to return to the United States for a short period of time in the interest of building community, trying to go back to Houston to make, I guess you could say, one more small effort to reach more people, to talk to my friends and family, and to see if they might want to pay attention to what's going on in the world around us, to see if they are fully aware of the potentials coming our way. I'm making a move to go back to Houston to host some events, to gather friends and community, to host community potlucks and community events of various types, because I really believe that this is a brief window to try to get the people we care about and we love to think about what's coming, to unplug from these systems, and if they're not ready to make these drastic moves, to at the very least start paying attention to what the hell is going on around us. There are people who are basically going along with the program. Let's say that. They're going along with the program. They're not really thinking and questioning what's happening around them. And that's fine. At the end of the day, I don't know that we need our family and friends to think and believe exactly as we do. What we do need them to do, for those of us who care about our loved ones, is to challenge these systems and to, at the very least, listen to us. And that might sound egotistical, but if we are the black sheep, the weirdos in our family, who are the ones who see what's on the horizon, and if you're in the United States, my friends, what is on your horizon is a fall of second wave, of fast-tracked vaccines, of a dark winter, as some people are putting it. That is what is on the horizon. And so at this point, what I'm most concerned with is not whether or not my family has become agorist or anarchist or stop using the banks or stop using Facebook or Google or start taking their money and their time and energy away from these people, which is the only long-term solution. But for the moment, I will settle for family and friends and people I love getting the fuck out. Getting out of the United States, getting out of the space of this fear virus, getting out of this space of this mind virus, because fear is the mind killer. And so many people cannot think straight right now. And even those who aren't trapped in fear have some sense of complacency, I've noticed, where they sort of just, well, I guess I'll go ahead and get a mask. I guess I'll go ahead and let them check my temperature. I guess I'll go ahead and take that vaccine. I guess I'll go ahead and carry that immunity passport to travel. There are lots of people who are complacent at this point. We need to shake them from their complacency in a very calm, compassionate manner. Don't go shake your family. We need to shake them from their complacency and from their apathy and from their fear. We need to help them see that there are actual solutions in the grand scheme of things. There are actions we can take. And so I have spent plenty of time writing and recording videos and putting out content about the actions I believe are valuable. And at this point, there's no reason for me to continue to waste my breath, is essentially what it is. You guys know the deal. If you know my name, if you know the conscious resistance, if you know my work, you know the solutions that I push and that I promote. You understand the things that I am about. So I'm not going to waste your time trying to rehash that in the hopes that some of you will finally listen. My point here is that you need to decide what your next move is. I can't tell you what your next move is. I can't tell you where to go from here. I can suggest, I can share ideas. I can sit here and talk all night to myself. I can record articles and we can write articles and record videos. I can shout from the rooftops. I can say all the things I can. But at the end of the day, yes, you can only lead a horse to water. You can only lead a human being to the solutions. They have to make the decisions. So, my friends, this is not a rhetorical question. This is a realistic question. And we're going to take a brief moment of silence. And I want you to reflect for this next minute on the question, what's your next move? And when we return from this moment of silence, which I hope you will participate, you might be driving in traffic right now. You might be, things are going back to quote unquote normal. You might be going to work. You might be preparing to go see family or friends. You might just be rolling out of bed. Either way, when I hit mute, let's spend a moment, a full minute of silence. If you want to pray, you want to meditate, whatever. Just reflect on what is your next move for you and your family. Let's think about that now. If you spent the last moment reflecting in quiet silence and contemplation or prayer or meditation on what your next move is, please share the comments wherever you're watching this from, and we'll all share our thoughts. We have to come together. Here's a couple of suggestions I'll make. I know I said I wouldn't sit here and tell you what my thoughts are because at the end of the day, it's up to you. But let me share a couple of simple steps, whether you agree or disagree. I can tell you what my next moves are. I can tell you what I think everybody should do. But it's not my place. Instead, I'll just make suggestions. My suggestion is this. If you're in the United States, and I would say even if you're in the Western world, if you're in Australia, if you're in the UK, if you're any of the Five Eyes nations that are so tied into the United States, then you need to seriously think about getting your children out of those places. And if that is not a possibility, if you don't have the money, the resources, the time, the energy, or if you're simply scared, and it's okay to admit you're scared, if you're scared to make a move because comfort is easier, then you need to connect to your neighbors as soon as possible. You need to connect with your friends and family. You need to start building your local mutual aid groups, your freedom cells. Now, why is that so important, guys? Why, this is not simply me plugging a concept to freedom cells that I helped promote. Imagine a scenario, and we're in May right now. June, July, August, September, October. Let's say we get to September, October, and let's say there's talks of, well, the second wave is appearing. We're starting to see more cases, and perhaps maybe even it ends up being a different virus, something stronger. Many of us are skeptical about the strength of this first wave of COVID-19. Maybe the second wave will be something completely different. People start getting sick. The news starts reporting, well, this is why we have to shut everything down. And the vaccine is on track to be released by the fall or the winter. Let's say they say January just to play it safe. And then this discussion of dark winter starts to come clear. Virus is spreading. The election maybe gets canceled, or at the very least, it becomes very difficult for people to vote. There starts to become civil unrest, and the people who are so desperate to get rid of Donald Trump, and people who are, desperate to just create change. And in that space, my friends, there will be chaos. And if you understand what's going on, you understand that these people thrive off chaos. Order out of chaos. That is their method that they have used for generations, hundreds of years. That's what they are doing. So I'm not asking you to prep for the apocalypse. Some of you are going to spend time with those you love, plan events, enjoy conversation, enjoy the weather. That is all important. Take joy in the times we have right now. At the same time, we need to be serious about thinking of our next move. If that situation I just described comes into place and the second wave comes back and people start getting sick, or at least that's what we're being told, and they start to lock down things further, I don't believe we're going to have another window to either exit and build, or to hold down the fort, or to organize. And if you, my friends, are surrounded by a bunch of neighbors and friends and family, I'm not just talking about the people on social media who shame you. I'm talking about the literal people who live next door to you and around you. If you live in an apartment complex, imagine those hundreds of people living around you who are completely bought into propaganda. And then they hear that one of their neighbors doesn't want to take the vaccine. One of their neighbors won't wear a mask. One of their neighbors won't social distance. Or you live in a suburban neighborhood and you've got neighbors all around you in the same scenario. Word starts to spread through the community because a lot of these Karens love to whisper and talk and snitch on each other that, oh, the neighbor down the block in the greenhouse, they're not vaccinating their kids. Oh yeah, I heard they're not wearing masks either. I saw them go out in a large group together. They even had friends over. If you do not start building the network, we are going to be surrounded by statists, snitches, traumatized people who believe the state is the answer and who trust the government and think that we are the problem. That is the real purpose I'm trying to tell you guys to organize. It is not for our own benefit. It is for the benefit of your children. It is for the benefit of their children. It is for the benefit of the 7 generations and beyond. And if you understand the 7 generations principle, then you understand what we do today matters more than just for this current generation. It matters more for what we see. It matters for the people who are coming after us that we will never meet, that we will never see. It also is, I believe, what our ancestors brought us here for. I know that my ancestors have struggled through pain, through having to cut their hair, having to change their languages, having to be lied to and told to live a different way, and killed and murdered and raped. And no matter where you come from, no matter where you're indigenous to, because we are all indigenous, we have this in our ancestry. We have violence, we have death, we have trauma. But through it all, our ancestors helped us get to this point. We are alive today because of their efforts and everything that they've gone through and their prayers and their work. And even if our ancestors weren't people that we're necessarily proud of, because of them, we are here. And the only way the people that are coming after us are going to know what the fucking word freedom means like. Freedom, freedom, freedom. You know what that word means? Do you guys still understand that? Scream it from the rooftops. Make sure your children know what freedom means. Help them experience, help them find that beautiful moment that you have where nothing else in the world matters and you're just so blissed out because you know you are free, you are liberated, you are powerful, and you are beautiful. And you take a moment to look up to the sky and you don't see any lines in the sky. You don't see any weird things going on. You don't see any poison in your food. You see the children playing and you are joyful. And in that moment, you are living anarchy. You are living freedom. You are living true liberty. But my friends, that experience is under threat. And I try to be a positive person. I try to bring you guys positive things, I believe at least. But we can't deny the reality. And some of my spiritual friends, and you guys know I run in multiple circles, some of my spiritual friends are putting their heads in the sand, putting their heads in the dirt. They don't want to talk about this. They don't want to accept that things might be about to hit the fan. Shit might be about to hit the fan. So my next move is to return to Houston, to call out to my community, the spiritual community, the activist community, the punks, the confused people who followed my mayoral campaign, people who I've never met in person. Let's get together. Let's have a potluck. Let's have a community event. I'll give a talk. Let's share our ideas. And let's truly have a conversation about how we are going to move forward. And again, I can't tell people what to do. I can't hold a gun to their head. I wouldn't. I don't want to. I want you to come to your own decisions. You know what's best for your own family. But I will tell you this, my friends, you have to step out of the fear. Step out of the fear. It's okay to be uncomfortable. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, I'm gonna hope and pray you make it through this, but I'm also gonna put forth an educated guess and say you will not survive. If you are unwilling to become uncomfortable, I do not think you will survive what's coming in the next couple years and in the next decade. I wrote a book called How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State, and it was released in January because I saw this coming way before COVID. All of these things are simply being accelerated because of COVID, but they were already on the agenda. COVID is just the excuse. So I bring it back to the question of what's your next move, my friends. I saw some answers in the comments. I want each of you, those of you who joined us late, we're reflecting on what's our next move. Stepping out of the fear, stepping into the fire, joining friends and family. This is not being afraid. I mean, but let's also be realistic. Like some people have said in the comments, they are afraid. They're afraid for their children. And my God, friends, if you are not paying attention and you don't see what's happening, and if you do see what's happening and you're not afraid, well, then I would question your sanity. Because any human being who sees that we are dealing with a world that is run by psychopaths. I mean, I'm tired of sugarcoating it. Guys, we are living in a world run by psychopaths who literally believe that they have the right to do what they want with your bodies. They think that you have no right to freedom of choice, freedom of association, freedom to medicate how you choose. They want to tell you what you can put in your body, what they can put in your body, what they can put in your mind. They've already stripped away the freedom, to educate without injecting yourself with vaccines. Think about what's going on. This is not going to go away. COVID-19 might go away, but this will not go away. They are here. They are here. They have used their power and their money and the media to manipulate the minds of most of our brothers and sisters and to convince the world that they are the good guys. We are living in the upside down, in the backwards world. Or as some would say, as the Christians might say, Satan is here on the earth and he's trying to pervert everything and make it the reverse, make it the upside down. So the heroes are criminals. They're locked up for being whistleblowers, for exposing the truth. And the good guys that we're told are actually the criminals. And they parade themselves around and they smile, they throw their money around, and most of the people buy it and believe it. This is the reality of the world we're living in, friends. And so we can't simply just keep marching through the days. Another day passes, another day passes, another day passes. I know we're so desperate for some sense of normalcy. You want to go back to the bar and hang out with your friends. You want to go back to the community garden, which is a good thing, and go spend time and act like this COVID-19 thing is going on. You just want to watch Netflix and chill all day and pretend like this isn't happening. But my friends, it is happening. There is no way to ignore it except for choosing to eat that steak and to go back into the matrix and say, you know what? I know this steak is fake, but it tastes so damn good that I'm going to pretend that it's real. That's the only way, is if you pretend that this is not happening and you choose to go back to sleep. And brothers and sisters, if you hear my voice, now is the time to wake the fuck up. Now is the time to wake the fuck up, to wake up more people than we ever have. If you've been putting in time, I've been putting in 10 years into this life. 10 years on the street, 10 years organizing meetings, 10 years making documentaries, writing books, writing essays, talking to the people I love, getting called crazy, getting cast out of certain circles of friends because I can't shut up about it. However long you've been in this, if you just woke up yesterday, if you just came onto this channel today, get going. Get going. Do it. Print out flyers. Talk to the family and friends you love. There are people in Colorado. There are people around the U.S. I've talked to people in Australia, Germany, India. This network, we have people from all around the world who join this YouTube channel and website to spread the word. This is a global movement. More than ever, my friends, realize you are not alone. You are not alone. Can we all say that together? I am not alone. I am not alone. There are brothers and sisters just like us, of different colors, different languages, different backgrounds, different interests. But we are united by the fact that we know the world is a lie and that we have these psychopaths running things. Of course, at the end of the day, The biggest secret that they keep from us is that we are the ones in control. We are the ones who are determining where we go from here. We are the creators. And so I'm not posing an ignorant or rhetorical question with no meaning behind it. When I ask you, what is your next move? My point is for you to stop and to recognize I am not alone. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am free. And I can change this fucking world if I put everything that I have into it. I can change it for the betterment of my family, of my friends, of my kids, of my future family, and for my ancestors and all the people who came before me to fight for a better world. I can make a difference. You need to recognize that, my friend. So now I ask you again, what is your next move? What is your next move? What is your next move? We're going to take another moment of silence before we wrap up. 1 minute, quiet reflection. What is your next move? What is our next move? Well, I think I've said enough today. I think I've got out everything I wanted to get out here today, guys. I'm coming back to Houston for a short period of time to, again, see some friends, see some family, to make my next move, to make my, I don't want to say final, but a big, honest, loving effort to convince friends and family to get out of the U.S., at least for the fall. That is my move. And come back to Mexico and to continue to build the Underground Railroad, to continue to build this network of free communities, and to continue to build the village that I know is possible, and to network together. But of course, I'm not abandoning the United States. I'm not abandoning anything. All I know is that if we're going to face what's coming, we need to have foundation. We need to have somewhere to go to. We need to have somewhere to organize. We need to have somewhere to protect ourselves. And if and when things get worse and we have to stand up and put our bodies on the line to defend ourselves and our freedom, then we will do so. I know I will do so. I know plenty of you will do so. And this is the time when all that internet talk will go out the window, and it'll be time for us to actually show who we are and what we're willing to do. Some of you will say this life isn't worth, killing another person for, fighting for, or even dying for. But I ask you this: if you're not willing to fight for your freedom, fight for your life, fight for your children's lives, fight for healthy food and clean air and clean water and peace of mind, then what are you here for, my friend? You might be one of the sleepwalkers if you feel that way. So it's time to draw our line in the sand. It is freedom or fascism, my brother. It's time. It's time for our tribe to rise up. So I'm going to leave you with this thought again. And I hope you'll go back and listen to this video again and maybe share it with some friends. And just throughout today, think of that question. What's my next move? And think in very tangible, realistic terms. Don't think long, far off vision of one day. I'm going to think now, because you might not have that long term, ability to think about what you're going to do in 5 years if there's no more freedom in 5 years. And I typically don't talk like this, guys, because, well, I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't want to be, the doomsayers like a lot of the people that are out there in the independent alternative media. But I'm just being real, guys. And maybe in 6 months, things will be chill and I'll feel like, oh man, I've made such a fool out of myself. But maybe not. And all signs point to not. And I would rather make myself look like a fool right now by trying to encourage my friends and brothers and sisters and family to think about what's going on, to ask them what their next move is, than to sit here silently doing nothing. So thank you guys for listening. I'll be back tomorrow morning We're going to do this every single day around 10 a.m. More stream of consciousness thoughts for my own mental sake. Until next time, guys, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.